A very good morning to all of our viewers. We are starting a brand new series in Beyond Boundaries, a segment of our podcast. And today we are engaging with the health series. We are talking about health and we are engaging with two professionals who are in different businesses but directly impact people's lives. We have with us Madhuri Vasisht. She has a chartered accountancy background, but after an incident, after 5 years, with working with corporates, she had an incident that led her to take on yoga. She is a yoga specialist, and we'll hear about her from her a little bit later. We have Prashanth with us, also an entrepreneur. He has been with the corporate world for a very long time, and his passion towards agriculture and healthy living led him to start his current company where he manufactures healthy oils. So guys, thank you so much for agreeing to do this. Madhuri, over to you quickly. If you can introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about you.
Namaste, everyone. Thank you, first of all, Raksha, for having me here. And I'm glad to be, involved in this conversation and looking forward to it. So I come from a chartered accountancy background. I've had experience in corporate for 5 years. And the incident that she spoke about is I met with an accident and I was prescribed to go for various medical treatments, which I didn't go for, and I chose to take the path of self healing and yoga. And about 6 to 7 months later, I was back to my normal life, and then I went through a journey of hormonal imbalances, and that's when I realized the importance of yoga and how yoga can change your whole perspective about life and your entire lifestyle as well. So that inspired me to start practicing more and of course teach as well. And currently, I specialize in teaching yoga for women and as well as children. Teaching children is my passion. And I have also written two books on yoga for children. And my third book is on the way. I have also done my master's in yoga.
Wonderful, wonderful journey. I think it's very inspiring, Madhuri. Over to you, Prashant.
Thank you, Raksha. Hi, my name is Prashanth. After spending about 30 odd years in the IT industry, and going back towards my passion, which is agriculture and farming and all these things, um me and my wife, Veena, we started a venture called as Santrupti Agro Products, where we manufacture full press oils, millets, and millet products. Um, and we source products from people who we know are making healthy products. Like, for example, we go to visit farms, find out how their manufacturing process is, and if it meets our health standards, then we kind of start helping them put their products on our shelf and likewise, right? So we have been in business for about 3 years now, and we have been growing in West Bangalore. We have our own store. We have now spread across 50 stores in West Bangalore alone, where we have our products available on their shelves. A few of the major things which we focus on in our organization is uh, it is trust-led manufacturing, which means we follow a very open door policy. We let our customers in anytime they want during production hours. They can come have a look at how the production is done, and the process which we follow. Our philosophy has been food is just not what's on the plate, but it is the story behind the plate. And the
Yeah.
goal is not to reach perfection, but to enable a practical and a sustainable change one household at a time. So that's us at Sanskruti Agro Products.
Wonderful, wonderful. I think it ties into our topic of discussion so well. Like both of you are, so involved with day-to-day lives. And like Madhuri said, she's passionate to teach children, and then you are focused on food and making everything healthy. Our topic for today is Unjunking childhood, food, focus, and fitness without the drama. Such a, I think this discussion is so prevalent across, groups of friends, right? Like this is so relevant, like whether it be your children's parents groups, your friends groups, anybody, this has become the normal topic, right? Junk food. If we can just talk about the definition, junk food is one thing, junk in general in life is another. I think media is the junk right now that needs to be eliminated. But if we can focus on food and then junk of the mind. So, Prashant, if you can talk about the definition of junk and what harm it does. See, there is a lot of things outside, but you're in the business and you are someone who pays attention to details. If you can just tell us the definition and what harm it causes, especially to children.
So to start with, let me be very clear. This is not a guilt trip for parents, right? This is about simply doable steps to help kids thrive, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere between our busy schedules and snacks which are available off the shelf, we replaced, healthy, nutritious food with something which is quick, which is probably an attitude which says just eat something. When we were growing up, we had snacks which were like roasted chana or fruits or something which was home cooked or even which was cooked with a lot of passion, and favor in terms of nutrition. That change has happened gradually, but over a period of time, we have come to a place where we are not eating nutritious food, but we are just eating something which fills our stomach and keeps us going forward. We have replaced healthy diet with a lot of sugar in our kids. We have replaced fiber with so-called fiber, artificial fiber in a lot of other products. So that is where we have been, and now it is time that we start looking at how we make our kids healthier by giving them more nutritious products.
Yeah, yeah. I also feel it's a mindset issue, right? Like you said, you find something and your next thought is just eat it. I think taking the time out to just see what has gone into it and what harm it can do. So if you can just highlight on the harm that it can cause. That shift.
So, excuse me. So, if you look at it, what does I mean? Well, let's take a very basic thing, which is there on the top of the mind of a lot of parents now: sugar, right? What does sugar do? Sugar creates hyperactivity in children, right? When they are hyperactive, they're not able to sit in one place. They're not able to focus. They're not able to, develop any of those basic
Yeah,
skills which a child would have if they were not so sugar pumped up, right?
yeah,
The same way, what happens is when kids eat a lot of not unhealthy carb, right? Like for example, processed cheese or the 2-minute foods, right? What happens is their body clock starts getting affected because it doesn't know what it is eating or what the body is getting, and it starts working overtime. Which is why you see nowadays that a lot of kids have started developing acidity very, very early in life, and
yes.
and it is one of those problems which is caused by the food which we are giving them. It is not that their biology has changed. It is just that what we are giving our kids is something which is not suitable for our bodies, right? So
Yeah,
sugar, unhealthy carbs, unhealthy fats. We've got people, for example, jaggery is a very, very good substitute for instant energy compared to chocolates. Chocolates releases endorphins in your brain, so you're always happy. When your mood starts going down, you eat pop a chocolate in, and your endorphins release. Your brain starts to feel that it is happy. Now, that is what is happening to kids. They're always happy because they're eating a lot of chocolates. They're always happy because they're getting a lot of sugar. So the whole baseline is getting shifted for these kids. And we're talking about very, very young kids whose baselines have shifted. Uh, they get one of the very important side effects of this is that they only get addicted to high adrenaline sports because of this. And it could be sports, and probably calling it video gaming is the wrong thing, it's classifying it as sports. But a lot of these kids are stuck to their mobiles. They're playing. games which are high on adrenaline, which is all, if you kind of break it down, it all comes down to the kind of food which we are giving our children.
So it's like a vicious circle, right? Madhuri, I think here you'll be able to highlight about the mental, things that is happening. I think we have the gut and the feeling with us today who can connect the two, because yes, it is directly linked. Like Prashant mentioned, there is acidity, there is all of this, and then it affects the mind, because we see a lot of kids with issues and anxiety and ADHD and all rising so much. These are unheard of. They're all new age terms that we are also getting acquainted with now. And now we learn about the spectrum and all of that. So, in your experience, how has it been so far? And what is the shift you have noticed, especially because you deal with children?
I would actually quote an incident from one of my classes. So there's this a small girl. She was around 6 years, and she asked me, "Ma'am, I have a lot of stress. How do I deal with stress?" So my first question was, at the age of 6 years, what stress do you have? Okay, so like you said, all these terms were never heard before. And I'm not even sure she understands what stress means, but probably somebody has just used the word in her family and she's just copied what she has heard. So the shift is tremendous. And like Sir said, we give them chocolates, we give them a lot of, stuff to actually make them happy. What is happening is the instant gratification. So that is making them not just eat a lot of junk, but also consume, in the sense of taking a lot of things in their mind as well. So kids are made to, get exposed to a lot of things which are unnecessary for them, and
Yeah.
they mature mentally very fast, which probably makes them lose their innocence. Yes, all these childhood activities that we did, running around, and in fact, children hardly get time to just be by themselves or express themselves well, because there is so much going on around them that it's becoming difficult for them to take some time out and be by themselves and process what is happening, or understand their likes and dislikes. And it's always constantly being influenced by either their friends, peer groups, or by parents, or by teachers. So where is the time for them to express themselves? So their mind is constantly filled with what others are trying to fill in, not what they want to discover or find out, or understand about themselves.
Absolutely. I was also talking to this mental health professional, and he was talking about on the flip side. So he was talking about the benefits of it. He says, I was talking to him about social media and how they are talking about stress and ADHD and this depression floating around. So these kids use it so loosely, no? Like a little bit of something has happened in school. He says, we hear kids saying, I'm depressed. The word is used very like, if I'm upset, I've had a hard day, it's depression. So, I asked him, like, it's used so loosely. Is that okay? Because you don't know when to actually attend to your child and
Mm.
actually get her or him help. But then he says that social media has actually done well because there are a lot of kids suffering. And with the use of this, if there's any awareness, we are very happy because it doesn't end in a bad way. So that brings me to that next question of social media, right? I think for both food and wellness and everything, there's lots happening on social media. I don't like, you name it. I think today you can sit at home and get diet plans, get yoga classes. You can become one also. So, what is your take on that? Like, when it comes to health and fitness and wellness, I think personally for me, I would be very scared to just go by whatever one video says because I don't know who that person is. So, what is your take on it and how should one look at it? Prashant sir, please.
Okay, so on the topic of social media, right? What has happened is that earlier we had a part of it called as the WhatsApp University. Now we have got the Instagram University, and we used to have the Facebook College. Excuse me. So what has happened is there is a lot of starting line information which is available, you know, headline which is interesting, and then people are so used to instant gratification that they don't actually take the effort to go and read it further. You know, everything needs to be within that first 6 seconds, otherwise people will lose interest. So everything has become that.
Yeah.
If you actually read a lot of these things, you know, good content creators, they actually make sense. But the problem is they are limited in their time, which they can actually create a video,
Yeah.
and they are unable to actually give out the right information. And it is probably a market force. Like if they put out content which is longer in duration, it won't get consumed. So they have to do something for their content to be shorter, which actually means that the real crux of the point gets left out.
Gets lost.
So that is, I think, the point. We are so used to instant gratification that we forget that we actually should read up on whatever we, is of interest to us. For example, someone was there was a video circulating around a few weeks ago. Uh, One of the interest groups which says butterfly pose in yoga helps. Right? I have no idea what that means. But then what happened was it was trending on Google search, right? And because I use Google advertising, so I saw the stats on that. And no one actually spent more than a few seconds on it. I don't think it is that simple. It is not that simple. It is beneficial. You are supposed. I mean, I'm sure Madhuri can vouch for it and talk a lot more about it. It's good for kids, right? But I don't think anyone spent any time trying to figure out how good it was or what it was. Same way, there are a lot of people who talk about wholesome food, right? In a 10-20 second video on Insta, they will actually prepare a whole dish. Uh, they talk about unpolished grains. They have no idea what it means, right? Uh, but the word unpolished grain is good. Now we have a store in which people come and say unpolished grain, and when we give them unpolished grain, they actually say, "This is different from what was there on the video. I want something which was similar to what was there on the video." And when we tell them that, look, grain has to, like for example, rice goes undergoes a few levels of polishing. Same way for millets, right? So when we tell them, look, polished takes away the nutrition. If you are looking at making a healthy shift, move to unpolished because that gives you the right kind of fibers, it gives you the right kind of nutrients. But that Insta video in which millet upma was prepared in 20 seconds had shiny grains, so they want the same shiny grains.
Oh.
So it is a two-way street. People also have to understand that they have to spend time trying to figure out what
Yeah.
what they see, and probably for the content creators also to figure out where and how much of information they have to put out so that the true intent of their video or their communication is being understood.
Absolutely, absolutely. But I think on the flip side, Prashant, there is also the awareness. This, at least people know there's something called unpolished. I think that's where I want to see the glass, half filled, because we didn't have an idea before. And now there's a requirement and people are getting to know. I think it's a good start. So, Madhuri, over to you with this regard. It's social media, especially yoga. I don't know how you deal with it because the influencers who come are brilliant and they are doing all these complicated yoga and there's so much surrounding it. How do you deal with it?
So yes, like you said, there is a positive side to it where people are getting awareness about yoga. In fact, we Indians have this mindset, once somebody from out of India, non-Indian, does something, there is an instant, validation that we get and we want to pursue it. So that has been a big influence on yoga. So you see a lot of Westerners, Europeans take it up, and that has actually inspired a lot of people to take up yoga in India. but the other side being how authentic are they, and
Yeah.
like you said, you can see a lot of people do fancy poses and have these algorithms set in such a way that these videos keep coming onto your feed, but how authentic are they? So one thing that I have noticed in the field of yoga is that yoga has been hugely limited to just the physical benefits. So we see a lot of yoga for weight loss, yoga for this, yoga for that, yoga for flexibility. We also see a lot of interpolation, yoga and bhangra together, yoga and zumba together. See, I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Okay, that's bringing a lot of people into the system of yoga. I absolutely appreciate it. What are they doing beyond that? So when we limit ourselves to just the surface level, yoga has so much more to offer. Are we trying to communicate that to the audience? Are people understanding the fact that okay, it's not just limited to the physical poses, but there is something beyond? I feel the social media influence is limiting the possibilities that people can explore. And with regard to kids, I'm actually scared for the parents, like the way videos pop up on the timeline. You'll never
Yes.
know, what can be the next video. Okay, you just keep scrolling YouTube or Instagram. You don't know what the next video can be. That's how the algorithm is. So it has to be. I mean, I don't know how far we can put a stop on the content creators, because again, freedom of speech and all of those things would come into play.
Yes. Yes.
But somewhere, at least when you deal with children, we need to be absolutely responsible, even if as even I'm a content creator myself. I do put out some videos on my Instagram page. But when it comes to dealing with topics related to children, I'm very mindful of the words that I use and the topics that I cover and the way I communicate. So if
Yeah.
content creators are mindful of these things, I think that's a very important thing for them.
Wonderful. Yes, I think this is such a double-edged sword, no? Like it can go north or south very easily. So that brings me to my next question about substitutes. Now, Prashant, in today's world, everybody is busy, including the kids. After
True.
school, they have so many classes, and they are exhausted. And somewhere, when they have to make that decision to eat something, these packets, and we are in a world of 10-minute deliveries today. There's Blinkit and Zepto that's delivering your biscuits and packets of Lays and chips and everything so quickly. They're hungry, they order, they're so good with technology. Now, if you can give us, based on, especially I think with fried food, because you're in the oil business and you understand how, uh, if for the lack of better words, how adulterated that whole oil, the usage of oil in this industry is. I want you to give the audience, the listeners, quick three things that is there in your kitchen that is extremely healthy, that can be easily swappable for the families, the kids, and say that instead of this, let me open this dabba and eat this instead. So if you can give those three quick snacks that can be replaced.
Absolutely. To start with this, let me start with one statement which is, which, it came up in this discussion, which is our kids are not hyperactive, right? Our kids are undernourished and overstimulated. Just going back to the previous question also. Um, so to bridge that gap, very few, very lot of steps, but very few small changes which need to be made. Number one, get rid of sugar and bring in jaggery, right?
Okay.
That's a very very basic step which needs to be done. Get rid of sugar, bring in jaggery, because jaggery is filled with micronutrients which your body requires: zinc, iron, magnesium. All these things come, naturally with jaggery. So you can get rid of your multivitamin tablets also because of this. Jaggery is also slow in terms of releasing energy into the body, so you never get a sugar spike. So
Right.
that's one of those things. Second thing is, when you are looking to substitute snacks, do away with factory snacks, like mass-produced snacks,
Mm.
right? Go towards either fruits or make something at home. There are a lot of simple things which you can make at home. It is like 2-minute cooking for healthy stuff is also available, right? For example, you can use millet noodles, right? Takes the same 2 minutes. There is no taste makers in it. There is no Ajinomoto. A lot of the unhealthy stuff is not there. Probably throw in a little bit of onions if you want to garnish it or give it a little bit of taste. The third thing which I would very, very strongly recommend is make sure that you are using products which you can actually trust, right? For example, not to kind of put some fear in your viewers' mind, but there is hype about pink salt, right?
Yeah.
Let's be very clear.
Yeah.
Exactly, pink salt is not available everywhere in India. It's available either on the Himalayan side or it is available on the Pakistan, Afghanistan, Iran side, right? So a lot of it comes from the Afghanistan, Iran side of it rather than anywhere else in India. Uh, but what also happens is if you don't look at what you're putting into your food, which you're preparing with so much of love and affection, is that you could be putting in contaminants into it, right? So be very mindful of what you buy and where you buy it from. Um, Very, very important. If you can trust the source, half your problem of adulteration is going away.
Right.
Right? If you, let's say, just to put in a little bit more on Jaggery, which I spoke about as the first one, um, price has to be considered every time. If something is available for 20, 30 rupees, and you know that, like for example, Jaggery, if you go and try and buy a sugarcane juice, it'll cost you 30 rupees a glass. So Jaggery cannot come at 30 rupees kg
Yeah.
because a glass of sugarcane in the end will only give you 2 or 3 tablespoons of Jaggery, right? So something which costs 3,200 rupees a ton and then in return gives you only 100 kgs of Jaggery, it will never come at 30 rupees to you,
Right. Right.
40 rupees to you. So be mindful when you're buying stuff,
Right.
right? It is one of the easiest ways for you to prevent adulterated food getting into your home.
Got it. Got it. Madhuri, over to you about this. Quickly, a quick lifestyle changes that people, like especially kids, can do if parents can motivate them to do lifestyle changes. What would you suggest? Three quick recommendations.
So lifestyle change, the first thing that I would actually suggest is for parents to bring it and adapt it themselves, okay? Because
Yes.
children will not listen and do something; they will watch and do. So
Yeah.
it's very important for parents. So even in whenever I speak to parents from my of my students, I tell them, okay, they want their children to practice yoga 5 days a week. But I ask them, what do you do? Do you practice? Okay, so it all begins with what parents are doing. So you can't keep a phone in your hand and keep scrolling throughout the day and tell your child to not do it. So your child will definitely not do it. So parents first need to be mindful of what they are doing and then start instructing the children. And the second thing, of course, comes with educating the children about why and what. Okay, because children, you tell children something, they will ask you a lot of questions. If you give
Yeah.
them the right answers, it's very, very easy to convince them. What
Yes.
happens is in a lot of situations, parents just tell you do this, but they may not be able to explain why or what are the benefits, or if they don't want the child to do something, what might happen. Parents are not probably able to explain it. So you give them the reason, they will take it in and they will definitely absorb it. Children are like sponge. Okay, you give
Yeah.
something, they will just take it in very, very easily, but it has to be done in the right way.
Yes.
Explain, okay, if you eat this, what is going to happen? If you eat this, what is going to happen. Just explain it to them and they will definitely understand. I have a lot of belief and I have a lot of positive opinion about our children. It's just that they need to be molded in such a way that, they have the opportunity to understand, they have the opportunity to question. So
Yeah.
sometimes, when they question, parents or any elders may get annoyed. Okay, why are you asking all these things? So allow them to ask, explain it to them. And now parents will be like, oh, I don't have time to do all these things. They are your children. Come on, you have to give that time.
Yeah.
So explain, what needs to be done and what in a way that, they can understand and they can, actually think about it. In fact, in a lot of my classes, something that I would have told 1 year or 2 years ago, kids will remember and say, ma'am, you told this that day, I still do it. Simple things like sit on the floor and eat or eat with your hands. These are very simple things. So you
Hmm.
tell them with, a reason, they will definitely follow. So that these are the, two things that I would definitely say parents should start implementing things themselves and give reasons for everything. Now you have Google, you can, just find out. If you don't know the reason, find out and tell them, they will definitely follow it.
Absolutely. And I really, second that thought, because these are all conversation starters. And if we start to discuss more and more about this in the household and parents start to practice, there is a natural passing on of this culture. I think fitness and wellness is a culture in the house.
Absolutely.
As soon as, like, say, you don't bring junk, like, Prashant was mentioning, replace everything. So if they don't have sugar in the house, they don't have a choice. And it becomes also, like Madhuri added, saying if you give them a reason and say this is what will happen, I think these kids are also very receptive to such things. So I think, guys, everybody know things that you've said, but I think the way you've said it is wonderfully put. It's logical. It's, I think, so well put together, simply put. Thank you so much for spending time with us. It's a very important topic, and people need to start taking care of this early on, because we see a lot of kids, like you said early on, there's acidity, there is stress, and all these things creeping into our society. And I think these are things that can be wiped out easily. It is very small fixes, like you said. So thank you so much for adding value, for spending the morning with us, and for sharing great insights. So final thoughts, Prashant?
Uh, I'm kind of remembering a very old saying which says it takes a village to raise a child. I think in today's date, we should add that it takes intention to nourish one.
Yes.
So parents have to have the intention to nourish their child.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well said. Madhuri, final thoughts?
I would say anytime that you're in doubt about your lifestyle, just remember what your grandmother and grandfather did. That will give you your answers. That's the simplest way.
Superb. Thank you so much, guys. It has been a pleasure talking to you both. Until next time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raksha. Thank you, Madhu.
Description.